Would you like to have more energy? Probably the answer is yes. Now, a lot of people discuss on social media all the different ways to have more energy: supplements, diet, physical exercise, ice baths, better sleep. Now, all these things are real and true and relevant, and we definitely should consider them. But I think that there is something which is even more fundamental to you as a human being and your access to energy, and that is whether you are on your soul path. So I believe that we each are here with a mission, you can call it a soul path, something that we should be doing, something that we should be spending our time doing. And the more that we align with that, the more energy, the more we're plugged into the universe. It's such a natural thing. I don't know if you've experienced doing something which feels like a compromise, whether it's a job, a relationship, a situation, and you feel stagnant or stuck, or you're losing energy. Doing whatever you can to move closer to your life path, soul path, is going to enable you to have so much more energy, joy, clarity. It'll blow away all of these other methodologies that absolutely are helpful and we should consider. But if you're not fundamentally on your path, you could definitely feel a lack of energy. So how do we get onto our path? How do we get onto our life path, our soul path? The only way is to listen to your intuition. So there's nothing that your rational mind can do. I mean, you could take a quiz, or you could do a psychological profile. It might give you some insights, but ultimately it is your intuition that is your best guide in this area. Now, a lot of us sometimes listen to our intuition, and we have some very useful information that we get from it. But what happens next? Often then we go to the mind and say, okay, I've had this insight. I think I should go in this direction. But what does your mind say? Does it come with some fear-based response? Oh, well, it's not okay to do that now, or you don't have the time, or it's not appropriate, or what about your job, or what about this, what about that? Have you noticed that this can happen? Your intuition is very powerful, and it will lead you in the right direction, and it will help you figure out where you should be, how you should be, who you should be, who you should be with. A lot of us figure these things out by doing a lot of things wrong first, right? So we go in the wrong direction and we get burned, we get stressed, we get ill, we get sick. And then we move in the other direction. So we've learned which way to go to some extent, because all the other directions were painful or detrimental to us. I would advocate for simply pausing for a moment or two regularly to listen. And what you will hear is your intuition. Your intuition, among other things, is your connection with spirit, with the universe. And it's through that connection that you will be able to orient yourself in the right direction. Now, you can meditate, you can do Reiki, you can go and walk in the forest. These things are very powerful when done as a practice, ideally as a daily practice. Now, we're all very busy, of course. We've got responsibilities and we're running from here to there. So that keeps us away from the depth of our true self. So how much of your time do you spend being busy? And it's important, right? You've got to put food on the table, you've got to pay the rent. But how much of your time is spent being busy? doing something? And on the other side of that, how much of your time is spent in stillness and listening? There's a great possibility that that is out of balance. So don't despair or worry too much that you're finding it difficult to find your soul path and your true north. That potential is there. You've just got to listen, and it will happen. You don't have to have some powerful insight. You don't have to go and meditate in a cave in India for a year, and do that if you want to. But simply resetting, returning to your true self regularly will allow you to hear the voice of your intuition ever more clearly. And a practice like Reiki is a very powerful practice to do this. Being on your soul path, on your true north, is deeply fulfilling. You will feel that life finally makes sense. That you know that you're going in the right direction. You're going to have the experience of being in the right place at the right time. For most people, life is a confusing challenge filled with uncertainty. Now, I don't have that anymore. I used to, but I don't. And what has given me deep self-confidence is simply the practice of listening, meditation, Reiki, regularly, as a part of my life, has changed everything for me completely. It's transformational. So the reason I can talk about this with confidence simply is because it's been my experience. There is no magic bullet. There is no magic mantra. It's simply doing this over time as a practice, as a consistent practice that will make enormous change in your life and open up so many possibilities for you. Now everybody says, oh, it's so hard to meditate, Justin. My mind is so busy. So hard to do Reiki sometimes because my mind is so busy. Yeah, that's the mind. That's our mind. That's the human mind. Don't take it personally. It's busy, right? So yes, when you sit down to meditate, when you sit down to do Reiki, you'll feel like, this is hard. It's hard for everybody. It's normal. The more you practice, the easier it will get. Some days will be more difficult. Some days will be easier. Don't worry. Don't draw conclusions from any one particular experience. Doesn't matter what's happening internally. Let it go. Return to yourself. And this is how you get yourself back to your life path. So, hope this helps. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to the channel.